Welcome to Red Shoes Speak. I'm Lisa Cruz.
And I'm Tom Clifford. How are you, Lisa?
It's been a long time.
It has been a long time, but it was a good time away to recoup and figure out what I wanted to do with my life.
With your life.
What do I want to do with my life?
Exactly.
So what are we talking about today?
Well, today we're going to talk about crisis communications, since
Oh goodness.
it seems like every day there's a new crisis at hand, and how some organizations such as Penn State is handling it.
And certainly not making any judgment on that, because it's terrible all the way across the board. But one thing you talked about is sometimes not discussing the problem doesn't make it go away, and that's probably the wrong form of crisis communication. What did you call it? Duck and cover?
Duck and cover. And then what happens is it festers, and then it keeps popping up in ugly ways down the road.
Oh my goodness. It's like the gift that keeps on giving.
Exactly, in a really bad way.
Totally bad way.
And we were talking a little bit about, in the age of transparency, you just can't afford to take that approach anymore.
No.
And what we tell companies and organizations, and it makes a lot of organizations uncomfortable, is hit it head on. Get ahead, be proactive with your communications. And I often compare it to surfing, is that you can see the wave coming and you get ahead of the wave to ride the wave.
Right.
Versus having the wave crash over you. And I think what we see over and over again is the wave is crashing over organizations, because they're just like, I'm not going to talk about it, I'm not going to be proactive about it, I don't know what to say. Say something.
Well, if you don't say anything, then you're controlled by the message instead of you having a potential to control the message.
And what happens if you don't say something is others fill in that gap for you with misinformation.
It's just amazing what isn't being said but everybody else is saying it for them.
Exactly. And it's just like the tenets of social media. You need to be a part of that conversation. If you can, lead that conversation.
That's exactly right. That's what we teach businesses, is that if you want to be part of social media, you're going to help drive that message. If you want to sit it out, that's perfectly fine, but then the message goes around you and you're playing catch up.
And then be prepared. And honestly, some of these brands, I don't know how they're going to come out of this, of a crisis. And we're talking about an organization here, but I think we've seen enough with people in politics, Kane, for example.
Absolutely. There's a lot of, it's amazing what happens when it reaches a certain level. Holy cow, all the closets get open and there's skeletons coming from everywhere on these types of things. And now, going back to the Penn State thing, there's even talk about their credit rating being lower because of this. And you think about this whole reputation management process. And my dad and I were talking, you know what? 60 years of perfection can be completely killed by one situation. Granted, huge situation. Holy cow, huge. But your entire reputation, squeaky clean, done.
And it wasn't so squeaky.
No.
Allegedly. So it's just really interesting, don't duck and cover. You got to push forward. And this is the other thing, when we talk about crisis communications, we tell people push through the pain, be proactive. So I think we're seeing a lot of examples of where that's not taking place.
You have to have that policy in place. When, if someone calls you up and say, Lisa, I really need your help, that's a discussion that should probably be made 3 or 4 weeks prior, instead of when you have people knocking on your door wanting a statement.
And actually, every organization, and we tell this to companies all the time too, you need to have a crisis communications plan in place, not 3-4 weeks ahead of time, but you need to have one in place so you're ready.
And you practice it. You've had some drills with the Allegheny County Airport. Didn't you have a drill?
Yep. Yeah, that's a great example. A great example of being prepared. But every organization has to have a crisis communications plan in place. It doesn't have to be 50 pages long, but you need to have some clear direction.
Do you have a crisis communication plan?
We know this stuff inside and out. No, we talk about crisis communications quite a bit here. Not just as it relates to organizations, but situations. If something happens with us or with one of us, what do we do?
Fair enough.
Yep. So let us know what you think about crisis communications in today's era of transparency, and if organizations are living up to that.
Pound Red Shoes Speak to be part of the conversation. We look at every comment. So please comment. I'm Tom Clifford.
I'm Lisa Cruz. Thank you.